Welcome back to another video. This is K-Time, and today we're going to look at the Ancient Garurumon deck. Normally I don't actually have meta decks on this channel because I don't often play them, but this is the deck I made for this format. So without further ado, let's just go into it. Starting off with the eggs, we are running a red base for the Ancient Guru deck. So obviously we have 4 copies of the bt17 Garurumon. This is the best egg by far, simply because of the cards removed from opponent security, we draw 1. This is good because even in the off chance that we swing with a rookie and it's not deleted, we'll still draw 1 irregardless. It's not like an on deletion. It's unlikely we're going to trigger this multiple times, but you know, there's a chance. And there's no really other conditions. As long as we hit security and don't die to a security bomb, I suppose. Yeah, it's pretty good. Because you run Ukamons, we definitely want a 5th egg. And normal 5th egg to run is a copy of the bt17 Gigimon or Gigimon. Not sure how it's pronounced. This has the when attacking, we can pay 1 memory to delete one of our opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP or less. This is nice, just, rookie removal, basically. It's good because you can remove opposing Ukamons, or just any of opponent's rookies that might slow them down. If we can slow them down for a turn, that's 1 extra turn that we can just swing for game, potentially. And also, we don't have a lot of defense in the deck. So stopping the rookies from swinging can also help us live longer too. So I think it's a good 5th rookie. Not rookie, egg. Going on to the rookies, keeping it fast and simple, we are running 4 copies of the bt16 Ukamon and 4 copies of the promo Ukamon. Not much else to say. Ukamon is amazing, really helps speed up the deck. This one is obviously the fastest for aggression because it digivolves for 0 and it gives us a memory when we move out of raising. This Ukamon's the best for actual hybrid plays because it searches either Digimon or Tamer, so it helps us get our pieces to actually make the Ancient Garurumon. Both are very strong. Even though this one doesn't search, the fact we hatch another egg kind of potentially gives us an extra draw 1 if we have another rookie. And with the number of rookies in our deck, we will hopefully see rookies very often. But no reason until the ban list to run less than 8 Ukamons. Next up for the rookies is 2 copies of Pokemon. I love this little guy. I think he's adorable, especially in this art. And he really helps with consistency because he looks at the top 5 and you can grab both a hybrid or 10 warrior plus a tamer. Yeah, it's really good because potentially we have 2 cards from 5 cards. So even if we're only grabbing 1, there's a good chance we'll grab something we need. And then also if we digivolve on a tamer, we gain 2 memory, which normally makes our hybrid digivolve for free. Yeah, so it's a really good card because not only does it boost consistency, but if the opponent doesn't remove it, it's good memory too. Only downside is that we can't digivolve it at all. So it doesn't really synergize with the Ukamons. However, its on play is so good that I still run 2 copies. If you really don't like it, you can cut it down to 1, just to run as a one-off. Oh, I don't have my pieces, play this, look at top 5. But I really like it too for the consistency. And then finally, because we are running red eggs, we do actually have some red rookies. We have 2 copies of bt14 Gotsumon and 3 copies of bt15 Muchomon. Gotsumon is a pretty common meta pick. Again, this whole deck profile is pretty standard, I feel. But yeah, players can't play Digimon by effects. There's a lot of decks in the meta that this is good against, especially Imperial, Diaboromon, Fenrir it's unlike the Fenrir with the electric sword. It's good against it, but they do have a fair bit of low-level removal that they tech in. So it is good, but probably gets removed. But obviously, like Garurumon, amazing. Imperial, it's really good because it stops partition, and it also stops David and Ken from playing out a Digimon too. So that's why 2 copies of that. And then Muchamon is our best draw rookie, because when we attack a player directly, we draw 1. And then, if we hit the security, then the Koromon will draw 1. So it's potentially a draw 2. Yeah, really good. Just nothing much else to say about it. Obviously, if the meta changes and Gotsumon is no longer needed, we would play other red rookies in its place. But there's plenty of options. Red has some good rookies for card draw and just swing into security anyways. So that's it for the rookies. That is 15 rookies. So that is definitely a fair bit. But with Ukamons and the way the deck works, we really just want to keep swing with rookie every turn. Swing, swing, swing. But yeah, going on to level 4s. These will be our hybrids. Very standard. 4 copies of Lobomon. Lobomon's a good card. It's probably one of our main ways to go into Ancient Guru if we do the full combo. Without going into Ancient Guru, he kind of doesn't do a lot on its own. But it can still slide Digivolve. So don't underestimate the utility of being able to Digivolve on Kendo for 1, and Kendo being able to Digivolve on him for 1. That's 1 memory for an extra card draw. Plus, when attacking Inheritable, to draw 1 as well if you have 7 or fewer cards. So even if he can't use his effect, he can still kind of provide some support with drawing. Following up, we have 4 copies of the bt17 Kendo Garurumon. This is my favorite hybrid in the deck, because he kind of can do things on his own. Unlike the Lobo, which doesn't do much by himself, Kendo has, when attacking, draw 1. And that's really good because it can trigger both the Tame effects by itself. Both Tamers trigger when your hand increases by a card effect. So being able to draw 1 by itself is really good. And then also when attacking, you can Digivolve into a hybrid with the cost reduced by 1. In the full combo, Kendo will go into Lobo, which will go into Ancient. But there are several other options that this Kendo can go into in the deck. And it is the same Inheritable to draw 1 when attacking if we have 7 or less cards. Finally, last, some people just run 8 level 4s, because these are the level 4s that actually help you do the Ancient Guru play, but I felt it wasn't enough. So I run 1 copy of the bt7 Kendo Garurumon. Even though it doesn't have like the slide Digivolution in its text, it can still just Digivolve on any of our level 4 for 1 memory anyways. And it still Digivolves on Koji for 2. So it kind of fills the same kind of role. And then if we have a hybrid or Koji in its sources, which we should always do in this deck, the Digimon gains jamming for the turn. So this is nice because this is just an easy swing with jamming. Obviously we can Digivolve, go into Lobo. This won't be when attacking, so we'll probably pass turn with this, but it still lets us go into the Ancient play if we want to. We can also Digivolve this way, have jamming, when attacking, draw 1, which will trigger our Tamer. Also, because this can Digivolve on level 4, if we're swinging, if our Tamer doesn't give us jamming, we can potentially go into this to get jamming for the check as well. So I feel like it's really safe to add. Just nice to have that extra jamming, potentially extra draw. And I really wanted another name as well. So the 9th level 4 is a 5th copy of Kendo Garurumon. Going into level 5s, I run just 2 level 5s. 1 copy of bt7 Beowulfmon. He can Digivolve for 1 if we have a Tamer in the Digivolution stack, which again should be always. And then it's when attacking, we return a hybrid from its sources back to a hand to return a level 4 or lower back to the opponent's hand. So this is really good. Another card that can go into Lobomon if Lobomon's not going into Ancient. The fact it adds a hybrid back to a hand will trigger our Tamers. And removal's nice. We actually don't have a lot of removal in this deck. Our removal seems to be more single target. So removing something at low level actually makes our Ancient better on top of it. The main downside is that it's a when attacking effect, which means if we go into it with a Kendo, we miss timing to actually use its effect. Also, because if we're using this to get rid of an opponent's low level Digimon when attacking, if they have a high level Digimon, they could block, they could ace, which is probably more threatening. And if we don't have jamming, we could just die in security. So I'm kind of iffy about this card. I feel like in the ideal situation, he's really good. But there's a lot of situations where it's actually scary to swing with him. So I'm a little bit iffy about him. But he's not too bad. The one I actually went into more often when I played at locals was the BT7 Jet Sylphimon. Which, and it's not blue, but it works in the deck still just as well. Also digivolves for 1. And when digivolving, recover 1. This card's limited to 1 for a reason, because, 1 memory to recover 1 is really nice. Even in this deck, where we don't actually have a lot of, security bombs or anything, we can just increase how long it takes the opponent to beat us, and we could potentially put like an extra tamer or something in security too. Cool combo is, especially if you have jamming from the tamer, is just swinging with Kendo, draw 1, when attacking, digivolve into the Jet Sylphy. Because it costs 1 less, it costs 3, and then you recover 1. And if you have jamming, you don't have to worry about it dying. And then after you do the check, then you just digivolve into Ancient Guru on top of Jet Sylphy. So unlike the Beowulfmon, Jet Sylphy won't miss timing. However, it doesn't help you remove opponent stuff, doesn't help you actually do extra security checks. It's almost like a free recover 1, but it doesn't really help with our game plan. It's just a nice bonus. So some people might not want it, not want to run it, because it doesn't actually help us win faster or remove threats. But 1 cost or 0 cost recover 1 still seems good to me. And so I'm running it anyways. Plus I miss running Jet Sylphy, so if there's any excuse to put it back in the deck, we're doing it. Moving on to the level 6. There's only 1 level 6 in the deck. Very simple. It is 4 copies of Ancient Garurumon. No reason not to run 4. He's the main boy of the deck, and he's super fantastic. Not only can we regular digivolve him on our level 5s, we can warp from a level 4 into him. And we can also digicross into him. If we use both Kendo and Lobo, he'll cost 6. And sometimes the slamming him down early for 6 is really good. Not only that, he basically removes one of the opponent's security every turn, including the turn he comes down. Assuming, on the first turn, if they have a Digimon to bounce. But even every other turn, because you can trigger it yourself by adding to your own hand, he's just super threatening. He'll tear through security the longer he's out. He also has a really, really strong on deletion. You can add back a hybrid and a tamer, and then play a tamer for free. One funny thing is that the tamer he plays not only doesn't have to be the tamer you add back, doesn't even have to be a tamer with an inherited effect. So you can play your tech option tamers. It's just any tamer you can play from your hand. So that's pretty cool too. And yeah, no reason not to run 4 of it. That's it for the Digimon. Going for the tamers, this should be pretty quick. We're just running 4 copies of the BT7 Koji. His main effect does absolutely nothing in this deck because we don't play Magnet Garurumon. However, we need Koji to actually play the deck. His inheritable is hand size increase, gain a memory, and it can't be blocked. So this is good against decks that have a lot of blockers. We can easily swing through Commandramon boards because they can't block us. and also gets past Magnamon X, because even if they're immune and they're big blocker, we just swing past it anyways. It doesn't work against redirects though, only against blocking specifically. Next tamer is obviously 4 copies of the new bt17 Koji. Shout out to Jake from Locals for getting me this alt, which looks cool. This one is a memory setter, and like the old BT12 red hybrid, we play 4 of the memory setter because it's the only other Koji and we really need Koji. His inheritable also can gain us a memory, and we get jamming. So that's really nice to make sure we live the checks. Obviously, if we're actually doing the check with Ancient Garurumon, we don't really need jamming, because if it dies, we get a lot of stuff back anyways. But the jamming's really nice for everything else. But next, I play one more hybrid tamer, which is 1 copy of BT7 Zoe. The Kendo and Lobo can digivolve on yellow tamers, so it's a 9th target for them to digivolve onto. And then Zoe's on play lets us look at our security and add a hybrid from it, and then recover 1. Somehow this seems to keep coming up. Like if I've run out of tamers or don't see a Koji, or if I'm missing a hybrid piece, I play this, and half the time I do see 1 hybrid in security. Or she grabs hybrid or 10 warriors, so she can grab Ancient Guru too. Yeah, 1 copy might not seem that reliable, but going from 8 to 9 feels like it makes a difference to me. So it kind of works out. Going on to the more niche tamers, I guess. 2 copies of Louis. Again, with our 15 rookies and 8 Ukamons, we'll be moving out of the raising area very often. And Louis just makes the deck even faster. Not only does he push out the egg that we just hatched and digivolved on with Ukamon, we also gain a memory. And then each turn, when we move out, we can tap him, gain a memory. So it really just speeds up the deck. And I found 2 copies to be fine. You don't need him, but seeing him kind of makes you, be able to hit more security. And if you're hitting security, you're probably drawing more cards too. Lastly, for the tamers, we're almost out of tamers, is 2 copies of Digimon Emperor. Now, this card's just a very nice card for slowing down opponents' decks. A lot of decks, including ours, use Ukamons, rookie rushing. You see rookies with starter main effects. There's a lot of rookies going around, and Digimon Emperor is perfect for slowing those decks down. His all-turn effects to draw doesn't come up that often in our deck because we don't delete a lot of Digimon. But, obviously it can come up. But we mainly use it to slow the opponent down. Digimon Emperor slows our deck down a lot because we can't even digivolve on our rookies. So it's kind of, we don't have a way to play around it. So this is good against Mirror Match, good against like Red Hybrid, potentially good against Imperial if they are looking to just move out rookie, play rookie for free, and do a DNA that way. It's obviously super, super good against like Ancient Garurumon, because they're basically all rookies. And yeah, so it's just a meta call, it's good. We hate the card, but we use the card anyways. So, 2 Digimon Emperor. Running out of camera space, I'm quickly going to push everything up a little bit. But yeah, our locals let us play. We played with these decks already, actually last week. I just haven't uploaded the video yet. So that was really fun to do and got to verse a lot of new decks. So going on to options, starting off we have 2 copies of Ancient Guardian Deity. This is a really good card. I see some people even bump this up to 3 copies. However, because it's reliant on having pieces in the trash to really be optimal, I feel 2's fine. Because you don't really need to see it early on. Kind of sucks if you never see it because it's actually a good card actually. But yeah, two copies is pretty good. What we can do is we can return a Digimon with hybrid or 10 warriors from the trash to a hand. Then play a 10 Warriors or Tamer with Inherited effect from a hand with a play cost reduced of 4. So obviously we can just add back a hybrid, play one of our Kojis or Zoe for free. That's pretty good for 2 memory. And we can also use it to add back one of our hybrids and then Digicross into the Ancient Garurumon. If you use this for 2 memory, add back a hybrid, use the 2 hybrids to Digicross into this, he'll go from 12 to 6, then reduce by 4, making him a 2 cost. But then don't forget this costs 2, so the overall is 4 memory to basically add back a hybrid and make this. This is really good, and because you can also add back the Ancient himself, it's kind of like a 4th and 5th copy of him if needed. So you actually don't really feel like you run out of this. You only feel like you run out of this if you don't see 1 or 2 early on in the game. But yeah, you actually have, it feels like you have more than you should with this card. So really, really nice. Definitely got to run at least 2 copies. Next, like Gotsumon, stopping opponent from playing on play effects. Another card is Crimson Blaze, which is good for 2 reasons. It stops, again, a lot of the decks that play Digimon by card effects. And it's also really good removal for low-level Digimon. One weakness of the deck is that Ancient Garuru only bounces 1 Digimon, and it's the Digimon with the lowest level. So if they have a bunch of Digimon and just one boss monster, we can't get rid of it until we get rid of all the little guys, which is really never going to happen. So we need cards like Crimson Blaze to help us remove all the low-level Digimon, hopefully. And then this can just bounce the highest one that remains. Yeah, this is probably, this and Gotsumon are probably the main reasons to run a red base. Blue base has also different draw effects and lots of cool things, but blue base doesn't have good removal for level 3 and lower Digimon, or level 4 and lower Digimon. And also it can't answer meta threats by stopping other decks from playing by card effects. So that's why we run the red base. It can definitely change in the future, but Crimson Blaze is really good at the moment, and red base is so we can actually play Crimson Blaze. Nice. But lastly, is just a couple of one-of options to fill the deck. 1 copy of Hammer Spark. We do a lot of drawing, we do more drawing than searching. So we can see this potentially just from all the draws we do, and that 1 memory can help us get game. It's also kind of a security bomb, because if they hit it and we gain 2 memory, this can stop them from doing the combo. So yeah, Hammer Spark's really good. I see people bumping this up to 2 copies. If you want, feel free to take anything out to bump this up to 2 copies. If I could fit 2 in, I would run 2. Also, because both of these inheritables work when we have 7 cards or less to draw 1, this is also a way just to decrease our hand size down to 7 as well. Next up is Ice Ball. Some people don't play it because they'd rather just be offensive, but this has definitely saved me. If I'm in a situation where I can basically get them to 1 or 0 security and set up to guarantee I win the next turn, playing Ice Wall before I pass turn kind of guarantees the win, because if they can't kill me, then I'm just going to kill them. Especially because we have, some removal, floodgate stuff. We can make it so a hybrid can't be blocked. It can be hard for them to actually stop us winning the next turn. And Ice Wall it's limited for a reason, because it is a good card. As a one-of, it's not as good, because it depends if you see it at the right time. But if I do see it, I find that it's really helpful. It can really stop your opponent from winning that turn, and 1 turn's all you need in this deck, sometimes. Final card is 1 copy of Heaven's Judgment, really good removal option. Because we also have a lot of bounce effects, this helps by doing something different, by doing DP minus and deletion. Again, because we have trouble removing low-level Digimon, this can potentially hit a lot of Digimon that are low DP. And also we have so many colors in this deck. We'll pretty much only use this if we have a hybrid out, which in itself are 2 colors. So we'll get minus 6,000 3 times. if you have a red rookie, minus 6,000 4 times. One of these as well, minus 6,000 5 times. I mean, that it's unlikely, very unlikely that you actually have 4 different colors. But surprisingly easy to have at least 3 different colors, and that alone still makes this a super fantastic card. Only downside is that its security effect is only minus 12,000, and that's not really high enough to get rid of a lot of threats. So yeah, that's a downside. I wish its security effect was at least 13,000 to hit most level 6s, but what can you do? And with that, that's the deck profile. Feel free to take a picture. Again, this is Jet Sylphie and bt17 over here because of the glare. Yeah, feel free to take a picture if you want. I played this at locals. The first locals we did with the set and went 3-0. So it went pretty good. I versed Demon Lords, Imperial, and I forget what the other deck was. Can't remember. It wasn't bt17, but I versed bt17 and a friendly, and these 2 cards just absolutely destroyed bt17 if you see them, so feels bad for them, not for us. Feels great for us. So end the video, couple of different deck techs I see people running. Firstly, for the eggs, some people run a 5th egg of bt15 Yokomon. This is the egg that's meant for the bird deck, because on deletion it adds back something with avian, bird, beast, animal, or sovereign from our trash back to our hand. The first target is we actually do play 1 avian, the Mitramon, so we can add that back to our hand. That's not the reason we run it. The actual reason is because Ancient Garurumon is an ancient animal, so it is animal in its traits. Whoa! So some people run Yokomon because on deletion we can add back Ancient Garurumon from our trash. However, I like this, it's a lot more consistent. We don't always add this, but you can run it if you want to. It's an option. Another option for level 5 is the bt17 Beowulfmon, because you can put a Lobo and Kendo under it to digivolve onto the Koji for 3, which is, pretty solid. We'll have then, when attacking, if we're 7 or less, to draw 2 cards, so that will really help fill our hand again. The also cool thing, it does have a really nice inheritable that when attacking we can return a level 4 or lower Digimon back to the hand, which is nice low level removal. However, I find him a little bit bricky because he needs to have Lobo and Kendo in your grave in order to do that. So yeah, I'm not really sure. I feel like later, when we can tuck Tamers under in the future set, he might be a one-of because of his inheritable is pretty nice. But yeah, that's an option. If you want to run a blue base, then obviously you replace the red Digimon just with the Strabimons. bt17 is really good because he can grab up to 2 cards, although he only looks at the top 3. And then when attacking, we can play the Tamer for 2 less. This Strabimon looks at top 4, but we can only grab 1. And his on deletion lets us play Koji for free. So yes, obviously these would replace the red rookies if you're playing a blue base. And if Ukamon gets hit and you want to play a blue base, you definitely run a ton of these. For hybrids, you could run Lobomon in a blue base as well. Obviously, don't run it in a red base because it's a when digivolving effect, and he doesn't digivolve on Tamers this one. So in a red base, he's actually useless. But a blue base, he's good because he can also go into the Ancient, and he's actually better because he doesn't need Kendo, and he costs less. But the downside is we actually can't use it in this deck. But, this Liberon's a strong card too. For extra Tamers, some people run the SD Starter Deck 6 Mat. Because he is, when one of our Digimon is deleted during our turn only, because it's a your turn effect, suspend it to gain a memory. This is actually really easy to do because we're basically just throwing our rookies into their security. Not only that, if we're warping into the Ancient Garou, it deletes itself at the end of the turn from the Lobomon effect. So we'll gain a memory with the mat that way. So we can give our opponent 1 less memory or potentially keep it our turn. Obviously, if you're running it, you would run 2 copies. Also, Lobomon, it can only warp if it has Kendo in its sources, or if you have a purple tamer in play. So running Mat makes it more consistent for Lobomon to just warp into this. The reason I'm not running it is because warping up when we're not in the middle of attack doesn't seem that good. Because we're missing out on that 1 swing. I would still like the option to do it, but it's not really worth running the tamer for me. But it still is really cool because it's a very easy way to gain memory. For example, if you didn't have Louise or you don't want to run Digimon Emperor, this is a nice tamer to slide in for one of those spots. Final tamer suggestion is Leon Alexander, and I forgot where I put it, but Hacker Judge, which is the 4 memory version of him. Just imagine it's here. Ooh. He, in this deck, does nothing. The 4-cost memory setter, aside from setting our memory to 3, does nothing. All the effects are Pulsemon related, so they do nothing. But the reason you run them is because they're Mind Link tamers, and we can't Mind Link, but we can just regular Digivolve our hybrid onto it, and then at the end of the turn, either one we can end the Mind Link, which means you kind of have like an infinite tamer. That you always have a tamer, Digivolve onto, end of turn, put it back. Next turn, Digivolve a new hybrid, end of turn, put it back. So it kind of gives us like a infinite tamer to Digivolve onto. However, it's just like, I don't know, I'd rather Zoe because she actually adds a card and stuff. Infinite tamer is kind of cool, but if we swing at security, we don't have jamming or anything. So if we die, we lose the infinite tamer, which kind of defeats the point of running it. And if we Digivolve onto it, pass turn, put it back. Like, we don't really want to Digivolve into a hybrid and then pass turn, because we're not swinging. So it feels cool in theory, but in practice, it just feels like we have to play around it, play around our own card to maximize our value, or just swing and security and hope it lives, and then we can end the Mind Link. But yeah, it's an option, but I'm not the biggest fan myself. Anyway, that's it for the deck profile. Hope you enjoyed. Feel free to comment any questions below. I haven't versed a lot of decks, but you can ask me about matchups or anything. And with that, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye!